Okay, so today I want to talk about why I am all in on remote corporate sales and why this could possibly be a great career move for you as well. Now, if you love the aspects of sales, like being based on performance, being able to set your own schedule, having that unlimited upside, but if you're looking for that stability and still have all those things, then I want to dive into this to show you exactly why I'm all in for my career. Okay, so let me clear something up right away, okay? Because in remote corporate sales, closer isn't a real job title. Okay, that's a term to use in high ticket or commission-based sales because that's what you do all day, right? And your success depends entirely on how many deals that you close, okay? In remote corporate sales, it doesn't work like that. Nobody ever says, wow, you're such an amazing closer, because nobody measures that KPI. That's very important to understand. That's because sales cycles are longer and you're not working alone. Because you're part of a team, okay? And you're collaborating with marketing, product teams, and finance to land and grow accounts, right? There are many moving parts and every department plays a role in securing long-term revenue. That's the main goal. Now, don't get me wrong, closing deals is still the most important part of your success. But honestly, like 90 to 95% of corporate sales professionals have never heard of the term high ticket closer. It just does not exist for them, okay? They don't even understand the pressures of the one call closes or the feast or famine cycle of commission only sales. And that is actually great news for you because if you've worked in commission-based sales or high ticket closing, you're already more skilled than 95% of the people making the big money, right? And the only difference is that contrary to what you're used to, you won't be pitching and trying to close bad leads until you go crazy. But instead, you will manage the entire sales process. That's why they give you the big base salary. You need to think strategically, okay? Drive long-term revenue, that's the goal, and work together within a team to secure multi-year contracts, right? This is the biggest shift you'll see. You'll be managing relationships and structuring deals that impact the company for years, and here's why that matters, guys. Because in high-ticket or commission-only sales, you're on your own, right? You're constantly chasing the next deal, and if you don't close, you don't eat. There's pressure to perform every single month because your income is tied directly to each sale. And if something changes, if the company tweaks their offer or the lead flow dries up, if marketing isn't delivering, then you're back to square one every single month, every single week, every single day, right? But in remote corporate sales, there's stability, right? You're still a high performer, okay? You still act independently, but you're not alone. Organization is there to support you. You have teams handling lead generation, marketing is warming up the prospects, product teams refining the solutions, and account managers ensuring customer retention. You're surrounded by people who want you to win because when you win, everybody wins in remote corporate sales. And that's why people stay in their companies for years. People just don't leave because they're set up for long-term success. The deals you will close will pay you for years. Your income will stabilize and you will become an industry expert. And when you shift your mindset from one-call closes to long-term deal strategy, you will start to see why remote corporate sales is where the real money and the real career stability are. Okay, so if you're coming from a high-ticket closing or commission-based sales background, you're used to tracking KPIs like book calls, show-up rate, close rate, cash collected, paid in full versus payment plans. These numbers make sense in commission-based sales, right? In short sales cycles, but remote corporate sales works on completely different levels. We are looking at larger deals, longer sales cycles, and way more moving parts. So deals can often be multi-year, multi-million. So closing a big multi-year deal can set you up even for more stability for the years to come. Now let's break down the numbers that actually matter in remote corporate sales, okay? And let's do this as simply as possible because once you understand the logic behind the strategy, you will see how you can consistently make massive paychecks while still keeping the independence and time freedom that you love about sales. Right? Imagine you're running a business and you're planning your finances for the year, let's say, okay? You don't just look at how much money you made today. That wouldn't make sense, right? You want to look at how much you've made this month, this year, and how much more you need to hit your goals. That's exactly how remote corporate sales works because companies don't care about what you close this week. They want to know how much revenue has come in so far this month. They want to know how much has been brought in since the start of the year. And especially they want to know how close you are to hitting your annual targets, right? Your quota attainment. But here's where things get different from commission and high ticket sales. In corporate sales, you're not closing one-time payments. You're locking in deals that bring in revenue over multiple years. That means a deal you close today might be worth millions over the next 3 years, but if you only look at how much money you brought in this month or your month-to-date number, then it won't tell the full story. So let's dive in to see why this matters and why we track a completely different set of numbers. So here's where it gets really important, okay, especially when you're working with multi-year contracts. Unlike high-ticket closing or commission-based sales, corporate sales are about long-term revenue commitments. That means what you close today impacts the company's revenue years into the future. So for example, let's say your annual sales target is $1 million, okay? And so far you've closed 700,000 of that. That means your quota attainment is 70%, right? But let's break that down further, because if a big portion of that 700,000 is tied to multi-year contracts, the actual impact on the company is much bigger. So if you close a 300K deal, but it's structured as a 100K per year over 3 years, your month to date and year to date numbers might only show $100,000, but the total contract value is 3 times that amount. That's why you don't just track what you close in the short term. Now let's get really clear on why multi-year contracts and corporate sales are a game changer. And this is not just for the company, but for you. Right? And by the end of this, you'll see why corporate sales reps stick around for years, while commission-based sales reps and high-ticket closers are constantly chasing their next check. Now, to give you another example, let's say you closed a deal for $3 million spread over 3 years. That means the client is locked in to pay $1 million per year for the next 3 years. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Management can move contract revenue to help you hit quota and bonuses. So when we talk about stability, this is what I mean. Imagine it's Q4 and you're just $100,000 away from hitting your annual quota. Right? If you hit that number, you unlock $50,000 worth of bonuses and your commission accelerators kick in. But right now, you're just short. So what happens? The VP of sales or the finance team can pull forward part of your next year's contract revenue into this year's books. That means they can take $100,000 from next year's scheduled revenue and apply it to your current year so that you hit quota, get your bonus, and earn accelerators. Now you might be asking yourself, why would they do this? Because sales leaders want you to stay. They want low turnover because hiring and training new reps costs millions in lost productivity. If you're consistently bringing in big deals, they'll do everything they can to make sure you're happy, hitting your targets, and making money. And guys, I've lived this, okay? I spent 4 years at Louis Vuitton, and I'm going on my 6th year at Warner Brothers. The manager that hired me had been there for 21 years. 21 years, okay? Every year, we're making $300,000 to $400,000 per year because of how the corporate game is played. Okay, you can't even get that type of job stability in the back office. People stay because they have the freedom that remote sales has to offer, but they also have a huge base salary and unlimited upside to their job as well. It's the closest thing to being an entrepreneur without any of the risk. Now, we'll go over this in more detail in later modules, but if you feel like this is what you're looking for in a sales career, then maybe have a look at the links below and see if a high base salary plus bonus is the right move for you.